Well, good evening. This is Gina Tudela. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Poolsbo, Washington. And tonight I'm going to show you one of the new kits collections, and it's called So Much to Celebrate. So be prepared. Next Monday, I will be showing some new product out of the new catalog. Our old catalog expires this evening at 11 p.m. our time. Midnight Stampin' Up time. So, anyway, so I'm going to show you. And it has everything in the kit. It even has some cute ladybugs. So, let me get this all set up. Open up my instruction guide just to get an idea of what to do. Okay, so, and as I said, it comes with everything in the kit. So, this is awesome. So, I hope everybody was able to enjoy the beautiful weather here in state of Washington. It was nice and sunny and 72 degrees. So it comes with mini glue dots, mini Stampin' Dimensionals, and these cute ladybugs. Actually, I'm going to bring it up where you can see them. See those? Yes, indeedy. It comes with envelopes. Move that little envelope out of the way. And it makes, let's see how many cards it makes. So there's different sizes. So there's 9 cards. So, and one is a little bit of a longer and narrow card. So we'll get to see that. I love how it has all the supplies in the kit. So, and it comes in different languages. So, I'm going to pop out the best wishes. And these are already pre-die cut. So all you do is just take your time as you pop those out. And then these here, even though they have a different language, you can still use them and just put a tag across that language. Or you can use the back side, which is basic white. So move that out of the way. And the same on these. So the word is congratulations. So these kits come in handy, especially when you don't have the time to pre-cut or you're new to crafting. So put that out of the way. So just remember you can use the opposite side. And you don't have to use the long bend. You can cut them in half and make a flag. So see all this pre stuff? Isn't that pretty? And it's got that rose gold foil. Just got to take your time when you're popping these out. And I'm trying to do it the time savory way. But to be honest with you, you're better off trying to do one sheet at a time. So there's that one. And then here's this one. Okay. So it's got quite a bit of flowers. Let me do this one over here. So I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. So I welcome you, whether you'll be watching my replay or you're watching me live. There's that one. A lot of pieces. There's that one. This is a long border one. Hold up underneath. I got a new phone. Well, ordered me a new phone last week, and it came in the mail today, so I was busy setting that up. So that's a lengthy process, but you know, the technicians that work for T-Mobile, they do such a wonderful job. There's that one. And I just got one more. Backside came off. There's that one, so there's only one left. So there's that. Move that to the recycle area. So here is one card base, which you get 3 of. And they're pre-scored. So it saves you that hassle, so you can just fold that over. And then I usually just take them apart. And then I smooth them out with my bone folder. Let me see who all come on. Hello, Linda. Let me scroll down. Hello, B. So this is a card kit. In case y'all missed it in the very beginning, So Much to Celebrate kit is in the kids collection. It's new. And next week I'll be showing some stuff from the new book. That's exciting. And then here is the other saying that's done in cursive, and it says congratulations. But I'll probably make some of these happy birthdays. So it won't be, I'll probably have to stamp it on the back side. But congratulations can be used also for wedding cards. And so even though these are not in English, you can just pop them out and then use the back side and make flags or banners or whatever you want with those. Don't toss them. And then here is the next one, that light peach color. It has a beautiful print. So we know where those little flowers are going in that one. So you just fold them over together and then separate. And then you can just smooth those out. And here's the one I was telling you about. That's the long, narrow card. And it's a very pale blue. And then you're going to smooth those out. So we're going to start off, according to this, they're doing the peach one first. So, all right. So let me move these ones out of the way, because we don't need those right now to confuse me. and I love how it shows which ones we need. And therefore, my glasses come off. So this shows this saying. And when you see this, that means that's for dimensionals. Okay? So we'll put the dimensionals on that. And then it shows, not that one. Not that one. I think it's this one. When you're not sure, you just do this. So that doesn't look right. I think it's this one. This one goes, it says C. So that is that one. Okay. So we need this one. So I need all 3 of those. And then it shows B. So when you're not sure, it'll give you descriptions on these on the back page. Maybe not. Okay. Well, it shows a picture here. So I have that one. And then it shows the one with the double daisies, this one. So I'm grabbing those. So those go with this one. And we've done this one and this one, so now we're looking for this one. So it was this one. So I need 1, these 3. Okay. So let me go back to where I was at. So you have an option. So myself, I would like to add the mini dimensionals on the outside layers of these. So this big one is the one that goes into this corner. So we're going to flip those over. Move these over here out of the way so they're not in our way. And those don't go with this card, so they can just go right up there. And we're going to take our mini dimensionals and we're going to add them. And I'm just placing it right in the center of the flower. And then one on the leaf. And then this one is too small, so I'm going to put it on the daisy. And I'm going to repeat that. The great thing about the Kits collection is when you don't have time to take the time to cut out stuff and you need some cards quickly to either make as a gift to give to somebody, or you just need some birthday cards or thank you cards that you haven't had time to cut paper and stuff for, come up with a design. This is where these come in very well and take hardly any time whatsoever because all the prep work is then done for you. So we're going to go ahead and peel these off. And they peel off very easy. And so this one, to give you an idea where this goes, it shows it's going right at an angle like that. So you can just put it just like that. And so what you do is you bring your other card in and do the same thing. Now, you don't have to do all three the same, but I am going to because I need to send some cards out to all those people that I mailed catalogs to see if they received theirs, if they have any questions. Because I just like to stay in touch. Okay, so there's that one. Now we'll bring in the third card and do the same thing. Peel these off. Oops, my phone is in the red and I'm about to die, so going to leave now and watch the replay later. That's all right, B. Totally understand, honey. Catch you on the replay. All right. There we go. All right, so there's that. So now we're going to do the next set. And the next set is these two. It's the one with the two daisies. So we're going to turn them over and add the mini dimensionals onto them. And there's only a couple spots on here. So you want to do there, and then on the leaf, here, and on the leaf. And the same thing on the third one. Leaf, and on the little daisy. What's the bigger daisy of the two? Then we'll peel those off. And make sure I mount this the correct way. And they have it up underneath, but I don't want to cover those up. So I think I'm going to turn it this way. So that way you see the daisy and you see the blue blooms and they all coincide with each other. Because the good thing about this is we can slide this in. It doesn't have to be on top. I don't want to cover up the flowers. I'd rather do this. So what I should have done is mount the saying first. And I didn't do that. So, phooey on me. I should have done one card. Well, all I gotta do is lift that up. That's all right. It's only one daisy. So I'm going to add a little bit of the wet glue. This is very economical and easy to work with. And I'm going to slide that up underneath there. I think I gotta move that leaf. There we go. and slide that in there. I don't want to cover up the letters, but just enough. And then that one will go right back down. And then if you want a dimensional on this one, you have to cut these in half. So I'll do that at the end because it gets my scissors kind of funky. I just gotta find little ones. And you just cut the ends like that. And then you can just pick that up. And this is where take your pick tool comes in handy. But I'm just gonna do that. There we go. And that stands right up on top. And then we'll have to do one there too. But this way, it just shows you. So I need to lift these up. I should have put the saying on. Didn't even think about that. Okay, that one is not going to come up. I think I pressed too hard. And if I mess up the dimensions, I can just use a little bit of the wet glue on top of there. There we go. So slide this one in. Because Best Wishes can be used for several different occasions. There we go. And now I just put a little bit of wet glue on that mini. Just as long as I don't get the glue coming out too fast. There we go. And just hold that in place. Then cut me another little mini end. So I can put on that blue one. And I'll need one over here too for the third one. Okay, I should lay it out. So just know, sometimes if you're not sure what you're going to do, don't follow Gina here. Because I should have laid it out first to see what I wanted to do. Right? I didn't peel off the back. There we go. I didn't press on that one. There we go. Okay, that is done. So now we want to mount this one. Okay. And then this one goes just like that. Nice. So let's fix this third one. Okay. So if you just go right up underneath there, even though you remove the stickiness, you just add the wet glue. It'll hold. There we go. And while I've done that, what did I do with the other? There it is. The other cut one. I'll go ahead and mount this one on the end before I put the saying on. The Best Wishes. And you see how I'm just doing that? Just spread it. You don't have to have it all the way to the edge. You just definitely don't want that to be seeping out on you. I don't want the W to be covered up, so I just want to make sure I have it straight, best to my ability, and then add a little bit of glue in the areas where the dimensionals were, where I peeled up, and then just hold that in place for a moment. These have all stuck. Good deal. And then we'll peel this one off. And then turn this to our liking. There we go. There's that one. And as I said, we probably would want to put something there, but you really don't need to. Okay, so there's that. And then our last one is, we did this one. I think it's this one. It is this one. So this one's coming around the curve. So what I want to do is bring it around there, because I don't want to cover up all that prettiness. So we're going to flip these over and add our dimensionals to these. And when you're not using the glue, as long as you have it sideways and just the lid just slid on, you're good to go. It won't dry up on you. So I got one there, one here, one here. And these I'm going to go ahead and put 5 because it has room to hold 5. You've got more than enough. Because you can even cut the outside edges if you need to, which I have done. And these bigger ones I can use on the bigger flowers. Like I'm going to use this one on that one on this one, and I can cut this one here. Just try to use the smaller ones on the small flowers. Oops, I'm taking the whole thing. Don't need the whole thing at all. There we go. Got that. All right, so now we're just going to peel these off. And like I said, I'm going to move it over to where we have a lot of that greenery and other flowers showing in the background. So there's that. Now, do they add ladybugs to this one? Yes, they do. 3 of them. So these cute little ladybugs. They're like foam. I'm going to put one like there, like it's going towards the flower. And then here's another one. You really have to get up underneath them. Okay, I'm going to put this one up on the leaf. And I try not to put them all in the same area. And then I'm going to have this one come in. I'm going to turn the card upside down because I want to kind of get it coming in on this one. It is coming towards that flower. So you have it. So there it is. There's one. Okay, so let's go back and finish up the other 2. Doesn't take much at all. Okay, so I'll peel this off. And I'm showing the whole kit tonight because I want to show you from the time that we unpackage it, broke it up, just to show you how long it takes to create with a Kits Collection kit. That's important. Okay, there's that one. And you see I'm using my scissors to go up underneath. There's that one. And let me turn it around so that way I don't have to turn the card upside down. And then here is this one. And I'm putting it on the green areas or the peach so that way you can see. Isn't that so cute? Yep. And there's the last of the first 3 cards. Okay. There we go. Just make sure that your flowers are not hanging off the edge. That is very important. Okay, so I'll go ahead and start from the bottom first. There's that one. There's this one. And then there's that one. So there is the first 3 cards. Okay? And they go with the peach envelopes. So they go with this one. All right. Now, on to card number 2. Okay, so card number 2 is the long, narrow card. And it's the one that says congratulations. So, it's using the bold one. And I'm only going to put that on one because I want to use it for probably other type of cards. So I'm not going to use the saying on the other 2. I'm going to stamp like happy birthday and thanking of you. that's in a longer version. So let me find my narrow cards. Here they are. And this is using the long ones. There was 2 sets of long ones. And the green one goes towards the bottom. This one. This one goes on the bottom and this one goes on the top. So first off, let's go ahead and place our saying first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the cursive one. I like that much better. And I'm going to go ahead and mount that with the wet glue and then do the flowers standing up on the mini dimensionals. This is what I did not do earlier and I should have done. So we're going to slide that where it's centered best as possible. And see, it does have 2 different congratulations, so I think I'll do that because this would be a great wedding card or somebody retiring. So we'll go ahead and mount this bold one on another one. Because I would use the gold cursive for a wedding, but this one I could use for a retirement or someone who bought a home or someone who is empty nester or they earned a job promotion. So congratulations can cover quite a few areas. So you just want to make sure and press down on those when you've used the wet glue. They do have the mini glue dots that you can use. These here instead. But that's all right. I went ahead and used that. So now we're going to go ahead and mount the dimensionals on the back of these. So all you do is flip them over. And you're going to go ahead and mount on each one of these the larger flower. They're too big for the smaller ones. So you see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. And then that should be more than enough. So you're going to repeat the same thing on the other 2 sets. Just take your time. There's that one, and then we got the last one. Put it on this one, and then we can mount it to the card. Okay. Stuck to my nail. Alright, now we go over here, and now we're ready to mount. And keep in mind, this one is the one that has no greenery, so it goes on the bottom of the saying. So it's going to go just like this. You're going to bring it right below without covering up all that greenery and the saying. So there's that one. I'll move that one out of the way. Do the same thing on this one. I'm trying to make sure I stay inside the camera. I forget about that, especially when I'm moving towards me. Okay. And then there's this one. Oops. Had it upside down. We don't want to do that. So we want to stay inside without covering up the letters too much. There we go. Now on the one that we're not having the saying on, this saying is probably going to go right on top of the flower. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring the flowers a little bit down more because I'm not going to have the saying there. Okay, almost done with picking off the tops of these mini dimensionals. Okay, so there we go. So like here, you can see. So I'm going to bring it down just a little bit more. So that way, when I go and mount the saying, I can have it. I'll show you what I mean. But I'll show you even afterwards when I get the other piece on. So just make believe that there's, so this can be stood up and it can slide up underneath. See what I'm doing? So you can slide it underneath. So when you don't want to put a saying on there. So now let's go and do this one. Mount the dimensionals on these 3 strips. Okay. And I say what I do with the dimensionals, I moved them out of my eye zone. So you can see how easy and quick this can be. That took most of the work out. You don't have to do any die cutting. You don't have to cut any paper. You don't have to come up with a design. That's what I'm saying. This makes it so much nicer. Okay, over here, here, and here. They always give you more than enough supplies. So don't ever think that you're going to run out. Oops. That stuck where it shouldn't stuck. As long as you haven't pressed it, we'll pick back up. Alright, so let's go ahead and do this one. That one. That one. And that one. Alright, so now we're ready to mount those. So we'll do this one first. These peel off so much easier. Now, when your dimensionals, you've had them for a while, they don't want to come off, just remember to indent them. That makes it easier. So, this one here shows the leaf at the top. But I want to see what it looks like at the top part. No, that's why, because the flowers would cover up the saying. So kind of bring the blue blooms in just a little bit, because you don't want that little flower, these flowers hanging over. That's important. Okay, don't stick. I haven't pressed you yet. Okay, that's all right. It can come off. Okay, there we go. So you want to make sure that you get it down enough to where your flowers are not on the fold up here. Make sure they're below the fold. So there's first one. Now we'll do this one. Keep in mind, remember what I said? Make sure the flowers are below the folded edge. And they are. Okay. Now here's the last one. There's that. Now, I'm going to bring this one in. Flip this around. I had it upside down. Okay. So we don't have a saying to work with, so just look at the top of the flowers. Your central one especially. And I'll show you. This will still work. So, if you decide you need to use it, congratulations. All you got to do is slide this in, and it slides right on in here. Now, see that? There you go. And then I would just lift up and put a little bit of glue up underneath on either side. Do not try to put glue on it. When you're trying to slide it, you'll have glue everywhere. Believe me. So let's just go ahead and pull that out. Okay. Now let's see if they're adding ladybugs to this one. They are. So they gave you enough ladybugs to put on each card. 3, 6, 9. Are they putting it on the third one? They sure didn't give enough for that one. Oh, they're only using one on the last one. Okay. So we're going to bring in a ladybug. Come on. Like I said, it wants to be temperamental with me. Put it on the areas where it can stand out. Okay. So I put one here, one there, and then I'm going to have one coming up through the center. Okay. Just like that. We'll do this on all 3 of them. I'll do center one first. There we go. Have one coming over here. It's on the greenery. And they're like our peach pie color. That's what they remind me of. Okay, so there's that one. And then here's this one. And then there's that one. And then the one coming up to the center. There we go. I'm acting like it's on a flower there. There we go. So there are those 3 cards. I'll move those out of the way. And they go with this narrow envelope. It's like a very baby blue. Okay. Now, let's go to our last card. And it is card number 3. And this is the one that's got the greenery with the gold lines. And this one says congratulations, but to be honest with you, it really doesn't need a saying. But if you wanted to use a saying, we'll just go ahead and put one on. And then I can do the other ones with either happy birthday or thinking of you. So, this one here gets mounted on first. It's the same length of the card. Okay? Now, if you don't know how to do this, if you wanted to make it to where it had a ducktail, that's what they're called, you just cut there, and then cut from the corner to where you cut, and do the same thing from the other side. And that gives you a ducktail. And this is going right above, and I'm going to do it right above the 3rd line, using that 4th gold line as a guide to mount it. Okay? And then I'm going to go mount it straight towards that end to make it easier. So we're going to go ahead and add our wet glue. And try not to get too close to the edge. And like I said, I'm going to use the end of the card and the 4th gold line as my guide. This way I can get the saying mounted straight with no problems. Okay? Alright, so you remember this one? This beauty? Okay, so we have 3 of those. So we're going to flip those over. And these outside pieces of dimensional I like to use. I don't like them to go to waste. So I'm going to put some right there. There's one, and there's two, there's three. And then we'll do one across the top of there. And then right here. Let me finish cutting the rest of them. That way you get the most out of your dimensionals, your frames, and all of that. Okay. So we'll put that there. And then I need to put this over here on that one. Oops, I have a single one. I'll use that in a moment. Put that one here. Individual. There's that one. And then there's that one. I'm using up all these outside areas because we don't need the mini dimensionals there. There's that. So I think we need to put one right here because that one's got a missing one. But those are covered good. I'm sliding it on my chair. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and peel these off. And this one goes dead center. So it's just like that. But it's covering up a lot of that dark green. So I'm going to turn the flower just a touch so it's not covering up the congratulations too much, but we got that dark greenery coming in. And then I'll do the same thing on this one and the third one. Now, since we're not going to have a saying here, we need to have this as a guide. So this tells us where to, make sure I got all of them off, where to mount this. So I have it lined up the same way, and I'm just turning this to say where I'm doing that. It's just at a slight angle. There's that one, and then I'll use this one as a guide for the third one. Because remember, these aren't going to have the saying on there. I'm going to use either thinking of you or a happy birthday. Or even a thank you. Okay. Line that up. Look at this. Tilt it to where I have it right. And there we go. Now we're back to the second set. So the second set is the one with one daisy. Is it right? Yep, one daisy facing with this leaf, and then the other daisy is facing with this leaf. So we're going to flip these over, and we can do both sets at the same time with the mini dimensionals. So the mini dimensionals are only going to go on the daisy and the leaf because the other flowers are too small. So it'll be showing through the die cut, which that's not what we want to show. Oops. Sometimes they like to move on you when you're trying to place them. But the good thing is they do pull right back up, especially if you haven't pressed on them. When you're just placing them, you're good to go. Okay. Alrighty. So we're going to go ahead and peel this off. I'll peel off all three of the ones that are going on the right-hand side. You do want to keep your stacks separate. The reason for that, because it's very easy to get them confused. Okay. So this one here, whoops. Thank God we only have 2 dimensionals on there. This one here goes like this. So we're going to go and tuck this little flower up underneath, just like that. But I don't want that leaf to hang off the card. That is important. You don't want it hanging off. Okay? So we'll go ahead and do each one of those. Just turn it to where you need to fix it. And then the last one on that one. The daisy is always the one that gets tucked underneath. And then you just turn the leaf. So there's that side. Now we're going to go and do the other side. So let's peel these all off. There we go. Flip that over. And then we're going to tilt this to where you see the greenery, you see the daisy, just like that. So, and then you have that one as your guide to place your other ones. Just turn the blue one, and then tuck the little white one up underneath, and then press. And the same here. And that blue one, I think we need to cut a little skinny one to put up underneath those little blue flowers, since they're going to be right there hanging. So all you do is you just cut. You'll make yourself, you need a total of 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is where I'm going to bring in my take your pick tool, because this will make it easier to get them placed up underneath. So I'm going to peel off the backing and pick that up, and then stick it up underneath. It's going to go at a diagonal. Okay, just got to make sure I get the sticky side. Easier said than done, Gina. Okay, there we go. And then you press. And then we'll do the same thing on the other end, on each one of these. And that's why I said that take your tool really makes it easy. Alright, there's that one. I got one stuck to my finger already. Peeling's already off. Then we got that. Then I get another one. Peel that peeling off. And match it to that one. And you can press on that one. And there's that one. Get that scrap piece of paper off of there. Okay. I can clean up my mess later. Here. That's just like when you're looking for something. You can't find it, and then when you're not looking for it, guess what? You find it. Always. Okay, so let me put this back up. Okay. Now, the little ladybug. Move that out of the way. Now, they have 2 of them. We're going to use each one of them. We're going to have one coming in this way. And then we're going to have one coming in this way. One is just not enough. And since we've got 3 extras, might as well use them, right? Put it on this one. And the good thing is, on this card, you don't have to have a long saying. Remember I said you can cut those banners down. And then you can even sponge them too after you stamp them. So here's this one. This is a congratulations. So we're going to have one coming up, 2 congratulations, and then one coming down towards the flowers. There we go. So there are 9 cards done, and we got them all done in less than an hour from the time I opened up the kit, prepped it, and all. So just to give you an idea, isn't that wonderful? So let me bring these cards back in. And these are the A2. This is the note card, the long note cards. And here's the other A2. And you got 9 cards in that kit. And you just can't beat it. For $14, I'm telling you what, you couldn't cut the cardstock, do the die cutting. Your time is valuable, especially when you have some busy days. But I want to thank each one of you for taking the time of watching me live and those who watch me on the replay. Be sure to share. Be sure to reach out to your local demonstrator. Those who know me, they know how to contact me. But I want to thank you for taking the time. And be prepared. Next week is the new catalog stuff. So, anyways, have a wonderful week. And thanks for joining. Bye-bye.